You guys are in for a little bit of like 15 minutes. So I'm going to go scene by scene, storytelling wise. So this is the first time I used our new tripods are so sweet.
Okay,
They're fluid
before
head
Luke goes
tripods.
into this, we bought a frick ton of new gear.
Oh, yeah.
New lens, 2 new cameras, 2 new tripods. What
New
else?
mics.
Oh, yeah, new mics. I think that's it.
It's like $10,000
Easily.
worth of stuff easily. It's very well worth it.
Yeah.
Our production has stepped up tenfold easily.
From going from a Canon M50 to the
R6.
the new R6 II. Because I bought the R6.
Crazy. Oh yeah, same about the wrong. But it's crazy. 4K, you can't beat 4K.
No. I mean, just insane.
You can see the shots. I do think I have a pretty good eye for shots.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some money shots in there, but what I didn't do is I've really been studying camera movement. If I'm using a wide shot, it's because I want you to focus on. So like a wide shot in the most plain terms, and I'm still figuring it out, is if you have a wide shot, whether it's moving or not, you're focusing on the environment and the person in it. If you're focusing and moving with the person, like we have a gimbal and we're following Adrian throughout these scenes, we're focusing how he feels in this moment. And there was none of that going through my head. I was more capturing, how do I want to show his face. Which is fine and it works, but I want to get it down to like a Kara Kurosawa level of every single frame in this movie has an intentional beat to it. I want to really pace of like wide. Now we're following him. We follow this actor of like in A Vendetta's Debt, there was almost no movement, which was like, scenes are meant to have a beginning and end.
Yeah.
Like, here's the first composition on Sam's face. Then it goes to both of us. And I was learning of who controls the scene. It stays on, like in the poker scene, it should have been on Adrian almost the whole time. Maybe people are talking to him, but he's always in the frame. We're focusing on Adrian. And I should have given you more power by shooting maybe lower to make you more of like this imposing figure. It's always like if you shoot down on someone, it makes them look small and like scared.
Yeah.
Shoot up, it's like they're more afraid or more big and like scary.
Which at one point we had the camera. These tripods go very high.
Oh, it was
and
so funny.
The tripod at the max height,
It was
and
so
we were
funny.
pointing it down at Adrian.
Don't you have a funny photo? Maybe if you remember, throw
Yeah.
it in here. But if not, it doesn't
I don't think I have
matter.
a photo of it, but
You sent it to the group chat. Me standing on
oh
it.
yeah,
With holding it down. So I am proud of how it was shot. Like pretty
Oh, it looks
well.
good. I think
looks
everyone
good.
has been amazed by the visuals and has been impressed by that. That's what every single person has said.
And I think now directing wise, I've struggled a lot with, this is such a big mistake. And like Sam and I are saying, these mistakes happen.
We're
so
19
we
and 20.
we literally can, and we're working with not even professionals.
Yeah.
So it's like, these are learning things.
This
So
is the
once we
time.
get to that spot, and I think it's not going to be, once we get to that spot, we forget. It's like, we're building it up. So we're kind of always in the control seat of what we want to make, which is really fun. And we're really grateful for it, is on, like, especially in the poker scene. And I know you definitely noticed this, and everyone did, of saying, what's your line? What's your line? It's not your job. It's your job to know, maybe like maybe you or Adrian probably needs to know, hey, this is the pacing because I read this a day before, or like if I get lost every once in a while. But I would literally, and that could break down to like, we need to have an exact script each day and know we have paper script. I need a paper script from now on, and I cannot work off the phone. I get very stressed out. I hate scrolling. There's notifications popping up.
Yeah.
My brain can't focus because it's very overwhelming for me, at least in this
turns
stage.
off. You have to like pull it up 1,000 times.
Yeah, and I also, something I did in Stu is I would cross out the line once we were done shooting it. Once I liked the shot. And I could go bit by bit and learn, here's where we're next, here. Because Stu actually was pretty efficiently filmed. And it actually looks pretty good. Like,
wait,
Stu
was it 1 or 2?
It was 1.
Did we even use the first one?
No, that was just a dud.
So it was basically one day.
It was basically one day. So having the script physical, I'm going to need that. And that's also like a note, like, hey, it's your job to know what I like.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm communicating. I'm not just like, but if like, I think I need that. I do need it.
Yeah.
Because I really lacked on saying, and also I was rewriting a lot of it. I didn't like how it sounded, so I'd rewrite it the day before, and it was very difficult. It was like, well, what new copy? It's like I need to have like script 1, script 2, script 3, and it's if I have the printed copy and if we have the most current copy with us, that's such a game changer. That for this movie, we almost never had the paper script we did. I will say the morning was kind of the poker scenes when I really was like, wow, I'm stupid. This is painful that I didn't print this out, or I didn't give you the exact, say, here's the right one. Because maybe it's hard for you to know what is even the right one.
Yeah, because it was 30 minutes before.
Yeah, we were like, hey, can you print these out? So it's
so
rushed.
I got 4 scripts, printed them out, and then stapled them, got them together.
Yeah, and we realized.
And then I printed the wrong one. I had printed out the
because it was called
original.
Yeah, there was a bunch. There were some sent to the different group chat. There's a lot to keep track of. So we need to really lock down on back and forth. Is this the right one? Yes. Let me double check. I should have double checked and said, here's the one if I'm asking you to print. So there's a lot of things we probably each could have maybe done better.
Yeah.
But having that paper, directing wise, I did not. I feel like I'm still trying to learn how much you can, in my mind, I want to be someone that can take someone Adrian's never acted for and elevate. I want to elevate every single, and I think I can elevate a lot of people to explaining it in a way that would make sense to someone who's not a professional. But there's a lot of I need to know what someone is capable of doing and need to put them in a position to do their best. If I have an actor who just doesn't have what it takes to talk, I need to show that through a visual thing. And I really lacked on, it helped that we were focusing on Adrian for a lot of it because it was one-on-one a lot of the time. And I also need to do, I had some really lazy coverage on, and some of this is also, I learned a lot as a writer too, of dialogue. I was watched Raiders of the Lost Ark again. Eleanor wanted to watch it, and I was like, all right, fine. And I'm picking up on so much. There's the dialogue in there. I want to focus on when characters are in a place, what they actually would say versus relying on the dialogue to move the story. Obviously, you need dialogue in the movie, and I fumbled a huge, why is Adrian parked at this poker place? The wide shot was the worst wide shot I've ever shot. It was at broad daylight, or not, it was no sunset because we had
right
the
after
fog.
The Crimson Cafe lady.
Oh, we'll get to her. But there was the fog, which we had fog from the wildfires in Canada, I think, and then moved to Detroit
Canada.
and was moving over. So our sky was just bright white.
Yeah.
So Adrian was literally disappearing, with our filter. That's another thing. Maybe don't use the Pro Mist filter for a while.
There's lens filters, and they the one we have is the Pro Mist filter, and it basically creates more glow on light.
Like a filming.
Yeah, and Luke has a fourth or a half.
I have a half, and you have a full.
I have a half, and I have a full, and Luke has a half. And I had just gotten the 18 to 35 Sigma lens, and the one was on it, so it already broad daylight.
That was the garden work because we had the ND filter.
Oh yeah,
which made it darker. Which also it's not the highest quality. It basically is darkening the image so you can keep your shutter speed, which is how
that thing's so fun
your
to play
motion
with.
blur. You don't need to know any of that, or maybe you do. Maybe you want to.
If you ever
Make
get
sure
your
you get an
hands on one of
expensive
those.
ND filter if you're a filmmaker, is basically the moral of. And there was a lot of we only had one take on your audio where if you noticed you voice crack at the end, and I only had one take of that, and I didn't cover it right. And maybe I think a lot of it could be solved by a fresh story in a solid a script that's completely done.
A lot of the problems were
rushed.
Yeah, kind of rushed, but I think that rush came from just exhaustion of this universe.
Yeah.
That sounds so...
It does.
But I mean, the Vendetta's Debt universe.
Whoa! Dude.
Exhaustion of the universe.
Dude, this exhaustion is crazy.
But I'm talking about the Vendetta's Debt universe.
It was... Yeah, we were so exhausted. It was
I mean, the original plan for Sorrow's Grave was it to be a 5-minute short where, Marcellus gets, super, edgy and, or, he just gets super sad and then he kills himself.
Yeah, it was going to be super edgy, which I don't know why it always goes there.
This next one is
it's
not,
very light.
and
it's very fun.
We're
Scott
looking forward
Port
to
is
a lot
also
more.
in it, everyone.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're listening, I know everyone. If you made it this far, you get excited about it.
Bless you.
And there's a lot of, I think, storytelling wise, I can still get a lot better, obviously, about making you care about these characters. I don't know if that comes from writing. I don't know specifically of, and I also haven't even had time to sit and look at what I wish I would have changed.
Yeah. I mean,
This edit was so intense. This is 1 week of
edit was finished. What?
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. So then,
or really Monday, like 3 hours before, because editing you need to have like a couple weeks because
we did
it needs
not
to
give.
sit.
We
and
gave
let
it
you
a
think.
horrible schedule. If we're being honest,
It was shot for like 2 weeks. We had 3 days we didn't even use.
So yeah, we had a lot of days where we just scrapped them completely. Which those days exist still, and we're still tired
working,
from those days.
Charging, getting everything ready,
and that is exhausting when that happens. I think that there was a lack of just like not organization, but
like
almost
patience, kind of.
Yeah, I think that we were both like, gotta happen today. Gotta happen today.
But without that drive, we
Yeah.
also are not. We would not sit here right now. You would not have learned that. I would not have learned this.
Yeah,
and
that
there's
is
also
true.
a lot we're just not thinking of right now.
Yeah. I mean, it literally came out yesterday, and we've looked at it.
Yeah.
For
I've seen it 1,000 times. And there's a ton. I think sound editing wise, I'm getting better. I learned that I need to make sure that I'm getting coverage of audio. One of this, Sam gave me this sweet film book and it has film quotes in it. One of the quotes was, if it didn't happen on camera, it was worded like if it didn't happen, I'm wording it what I took from it. If it didn't happen on camera with that audio, it didn't happen. Only use audio from what happened. Which I don't think is completely how I want to be a filmmaker. I think added audio can really strengthen.
I think it adds like a lot to a scene if
I
there's
do
like
too.
background noise. Like if you don't have a crowd
Well,
behind it, you
they're
can make
not
it sound
saying
like there is.
don't have that noise. They're saying don't bring in fake like Foley noise, which is like or Foley, whatever it's called. Like din 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 din, like a right.
Now we're just making sound effects.
But like you don't, they said it, so I don't know if I fully, but I at least need the coverage of like when Adrian gets thrown out of the poker place.
Yeah.
That audio is not like I missed that the door doesn't even open there. I also had a very bad cut as he's digging the graves. If you notice, you really can't notice because I did a camera move kind of having like it cuts weird. So there's a bunch of little hindsight things that I believe probably it's very grueling to edit the same thing that many days in a row. And I have already been, after we'd film, I would cut all of the stuff and edit it. It was just painful to play back an 18-minute movie over and over again, trying to see every mistake, trying to also think of what would make this better. I'm already tired of this thing. I want to get this out because if you notice, we didn't really market it this hard at all.
No, yeah.
This was marketed maybe like a pretty good amount.
I think we were kind of being intentional with the like very limited marketing, but also like we were just kind of exhausted of it. Because we had felt like in Vendetta's Debt, we had kind of just overloaded, like in just like push, which actually for the movie ended up working.
Yeah, well, the problem was, and this is me because I'll do our marketing stuff, and I was just putting out. In my mind, I was like, I'm gonna maximize and that was a learning moment. Good marketing sometimes is giving a little bit and then backing up. If they like it, they'll be interested. And every project does not need that much marketing.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to have a couple videos or show a scene, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I think when you give too much, while it can generate maybe a little bit more, you're exhausting those. Like a lot of people, I think probably were still exhausted from A Vendetta's Debt.
Yeah.
I think people were like, oh, this is a new story. But maybe if there wasn't as much marketing in A Vendetta's Debt, then they would have been more interested in this because it's more of what they liked.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like little marketing things and stuff we've learned.
And then also there was going to be, which this was kind of built into the marketing of it, is we were going to put it all together and then put it in the movie theater.
Yeah, that was going to be a big.
So like, I had gotten in touch with 2 theaters, Wonderland in Niles, and then the Celebration in Benton Harbor, and we were ready to drop $750 to rent out the movie theater, and then Luke said, Was it your dad that kind of?
He kind of told me. I was kind of thinking. He was like, "I think it's a great idea. 750 is too much." He goes, "That's for you. Got to use that for your gear and keep making stuff." It's like, why? He's like, I think it could be really fun. I think it could be really cool, and I think a Vendetta's Dead is cool. But he's like, why not wait a couple months and premiere something that you think is the greatest thing you've ever made? If you're not fully confident in this, and if you're worried about patching holes, don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, then it's like, all right, let's breathe. We just spent a ton of money on a premiere. Our own like Suka premiere.